The I-5 freeway runs for 1,300 miles. It carries millions of people up and down the California coast, all going about their daily lives like ants marching in the dirt, too busy to notice the evil that's right in front of them. Out here, I can play any character I want in order to get what I need. Every killer needs a playground, and the I-5 is mine.
Is there a problem, officer?
Interstate 5 cuts through the center of the state and goes really from the Oregon border down to the California-Mexico border. There's not a lot of services along the road or anything like that.
The victim was a white female, approximately 5'8", medium build.
She had ligature marks around her neck and some marks around her wrists as if she had been bound. She was strangled to death, and there was signs of sexual assault.
Her top had been cut along the top straps on both sides, and it had been cut up the side. It was very odd that it was cut like that. I had never seen anything like that, and my partner, who had worked homicide for years, had never seen anything like that either. Because of the cuts in the clothing, I decided to see if we could find the instrument that was used. And we located a pair of scissors. The scissors were in such good shape, no rust whatsoever. We felt confident that those were the scissors that were used.
Finding the scissors in that ditch right next to this cut blouse seemed to indicate that this killer got off on somehow cutting the clothing of his victim.
Stephanie was young, bubbly, energetic personality, very pretty. She came from a great family. Her car was parked on the other side of the fog line. The driver's window was down, the lights were off. The passenger side door rest was pulled off, indicating that she may have been hanging on for dear life. That car was running fine. That car did not stop because of a mechanical problem. It stopped for some other reason.
Is there a problem, officer?
I've traveled thousands of miles looking for girls.
You sure you don't mind?
I don't mind at all. Let's get going.
Okay.
Once I've picked one up, I just start driving as far as I can go. Well past the invisible lines that mark one police jurisdiction from another. Some people drive to clear their heads. But when I drive, my mind swells with thoughts. Each one worse than the next.
I think that was our exit.
Almost a month after Stephanie was abducted, I was assigned a missing persons case.
Charmaine Sabra, she was 26 years old. She was a new mother, a single mom, working, going to school part-time.
She and her mother were on their way home, and their car broke down along I-5.
What are you guys doing on the side of the road? It's dark out.
Our car broke down like 5 miles back.
A gentleman offered to give them rides to Sacramento, but because he had a sports car, he could only take one at a time.
Charmaine got in this guy's car and drove away. And it was the last time Carmen ever saw her daughter.
A sketch artist sat down with Carmen, and they were able to provide a sketch of the suspect. Carmen wasn't really able to give us a great description of this person. The inside dome light of the car, she doesn't remember that coming on.
It appears the light did not come on. Could be a coincidence, but one shouldn't expect it to be. We've seen offenders go to very elaborate lengths to prepare their vehicles for entrapping and abducting a victim.
Carmen was very, very hopeful that Charmaine was still alive. I didn't have a good feeling about it.
Women have ignored me my whole life, starting with my mother. She made it clear that she wished that I had never been born. She wouldn't even look me in the eye. The girls I meet, though, they're different. When I'm with them, they can't look away. They pay me all the attention I need.
Charmaine Sabra's body was discovered about 400 feet off the roadway.
She had been strangled with a piece of her clothing, which was still around her neck.
We discovered that her shirt had been cut, as well as her bra straps, her nylons.
From the evidence available, it appears that this is motivated by sexual sadism. We can tell that from the strangulation and the cutting of the clothing, and from the way the bodies are dumped like trash. Strangulation, remote locations do not link crimes. However, cutting the clothing would constitute a signature just as much as if the offender had carved his initials on the bodies.
We were all convinced at this point we had a serial killer on the loose.
The pattern that began to emerge had to do with the distance from which the victim was picked up and to where her body was found. The thing that came to mind with the detectives was that this guy knows what he's doing. He's picking up a victim in one jurisdiction and dropping her in another jurisdiction. These counties and their law enforcement agencies did not talk to each other and share notes on a regular basis. It really reinforced the thought that this guy might have some association with or knowledge about police procedures.
I first noticed the potential of the I-5 on a drive out east to see my brother in Tahoe.
Can I offer you a beer or a coffee or something?
Yeah, coffee would be great. We've always been close, which is funny, because since I was a kid, I've had trouble with rules.
Hey, Rocket Man, you with me? Hey. Oh, yeah, there he is.
And well, my baby brother is the law. I try to be more like him in my own way. Pity. He can't see that I've become his worst nightmare.
We went to the media and had a press conference letting them know that we did have a serial killer on the loose. We did publicize the composite that Carmen and Salmi made. We would stop people. We'd ask them if they regularly traveled this road. If they said yes, we had them pull over to the side of the road. If they said no, we gave them a flyer and had to continue on the way. We did not believe that this killer was going to stop. We believed this killer was going to continue on until he was caught.
Keep walking. Take your dress off.
The women who can't see through my mask need to be punished. Total lesson for their stupidity.
That's right.
I like to toy with them at first. Give them time to think about what's coming. Today they're little princesses in fancy clothes.
On your knees.
Tomorrow, they're just a faded memory.
Don't look at me again.
As soon as the criminalists discovered that the clothes had been cut, we knew our suspect had hit again.
The clothes had been strewn about kind of down this dirt road to the crime scene, and one investigator looked at it and thought that it was as if he was making her disrobe. They knew they were going to die, and he was showing them the kind of control and power he had over them.
What was significant about that scene was that they determined the cord used in the ligature was parachute cord.
The cord had minute specks of red paint. This was the first time cord had been found like this at the scenes.
Darcy Frackenpole, she was 17, a runaway from home in Seattle, and was involved in some drugs and was doing some part-time prostitution, and was last seen on a main thoroughfare of downtown Sacramento getting into a car.
There was no witness to this abduction. They believed that she had made a date for the purpose of prostitution, and then her body was found.
By now, my routine is perfect. The most thinly veiled excuse, and they fall right into my lap.
Hey there.
Hi there.
You gonna have a good time tonight?
I could say anything to them.
I want to take a picture of you.
They're only words.
Okay. That's gonna cost a little more.
The only thing that matters is that they get in the car.
I'll give you $1,000.
Baby, it's your lucky night.
Because once they're in,
Come on, get in the car.
I'm in control.
Shut the door. Shut it. Relax for a minute.
She got in the car, and almost immediately, he reaches across.
Shut up! Get over here! The subject grabbed her and started slamming her head into the dashboard of the car. She fought, started to scream, and was able to actually get herself out the car.
Lucky for her, there was a patrol car sitting in the same parking lot and saw this woman falling out of this car.
So the officer detained him and arrested him. They found a Ziploc bag. Inside was a pair of handcuffs, a ponytail rubber band, a pair of scissors, and a garrote fashioned from 2 wooden handles and a white parachute cord. It was an item made for strangling. I would think when a garrote is found that would really send up red flags and say, hey, look what we got. That should have never, ever happened. That we should have been alerted immediately on that.
Having a brother on the force, I've learned how the system works. To them, I'm a seedy guy who got rough with a hooker. Not the big fish that everybody's looking for. But when they let me go, I'll get back on the road. And the I-5 is just full of women waiting for me.
One of the detectives that had been working on our I-5 series was told that this garrote was found. So the detective went down to take a look at it.
The white nylon cordage had these same specks of red paint that she had seen at the murder scene when they found Darcy Frackenpole's body. It was a Hollywood movie moment for her. She went upstairs to the task force and went right to the lieutenant and said, "We got him."
Roger Kibbe was working for Public Storage in Sacramento. He was married. They had no children living with him.
Detectives immediately made a phone call to find out where this guy was who was arrested. Was he still in lockup? They were told, no, he made bail this morning.
He was our guy, and the scary part is that he had bailed out. We were very fearful that he was going to kill again. We did a background investigation on Roger Kibbe. We had discovered that while he was 14, 15 years of age, he'd actually gone and stolen women's clothing, and he was cutting them up. He did fit the composite. He had a dark-colored sports car. I felt confident this was our person.
One of his younger brothers, who actually Roger's closest to, is a homicide detective. I don't think anybody thought that the brother was helping him, but that really connected their original fears that this killer did know something about police procedures. In the course of that search, they came up with several pieces of white nylon cordage.
The cordage that was found at the crime scene, the public storage, and in his killing kit all had minute specks of red paint.
That meant that they'd all been in the same environment at the same time that somebody was spray painting red paint.
We knew then that we had him. This was going to be the piece that was going to send Roger away for a murder.
I would pull them over on the side of the road.
Roger Kibbe has no remorse for the havoc that he created for these girls and their family. He has no problem talking to me about the women that he killed, how he killed them, how he raped them, but he won't admit to the clothes cutting.
This is common among serial sex offenders, that they'll admit to the violent acts they engage in, but they don't want to admit the perverted acts.
I think Roger Kibbe's chief motivation was power and control over women.
For him, with his hatred of women and his sexual sadism, the force is exciting, the cutting of the clothing is exciting, the strangulation is exciting. It's the whole package.
I don't think you go from being a 15-year-old cutting up clothes to suddenly killing in your mid-40s. I've heard one detective say that Ted Bundy was considered the record holder at 70 or 80, but that Roger Kibbe might actually exceed that. This is a guy who put 100,000 miles a year on his car. He drove late at night, all through the night, on highways and byways, looking for the right victim at the right time. I think the thrill of the hunt was in his blood. Like I say, he was a killing machine, and he was very, very good at it.
They got me on 7, but there are others that I'll always keep secret. The truth is, I am the only one who knows what happened out there on the freeway. And I'm not talking about it anytime soon. They say that everything I did was written in my genes. Born evil. Well, they don't know the half of it. I was driving the I-5 long before they even knew I